This is St. Louis Cardinals baseball. And the homestand comes to a close this afternoon. It's a makeup game. Day baseball, the Kansas City Royals and the St. Louis Cardinals. And welcome to the broadcast booth here at Busch Stadium with the Cardinals Hall of Famer Jim Edmonds. I'm Dan McLaughlin, and Jim Hayes is with us as well. The bullpen has been very good for the St. Louis Cardinals first month plus, and leading the way in many ways has been Ryan Helsley. And Jimmy, he was just awesome yesterday.
Yeah, yesterday was unbelievable, but this whole year he's been pitching well. Stats don't lie, but yesterday was something special. He struck out, I believe, 4 out of 6, 2-inning save, 103-mile-an-hour fastball, and Danny, what impressed me the most, 14 out of 18 strikes. And I just think that was unbelievable to watch.
So he's not walking many, and he's throwing hard. And yesterday, 103.1 with the four-seamer, the fastest in baseball. Now let's take a look at our Charmin Ultra Strong stats. The highest average of the four-seam fastball, and Ryan Helsley is in the top 5 at 99.1. So he is healthy this year and contributing in a big way for the St. Louis Cardinals coming out of their bullpen. It's the lefty today. Steven Matz is on the mound for St. Louis. The veteran Zack Greinke for the Royals. Kansas City, St. Louis coming up on Bally Sports.
The leadoff spot this afternoon as the Cards get set to take on the Royals over at Busch Stadium. Back at our Ballpark Village studios, the Mad Hungarian, Al Raboski, and Scott Warman with you. Well, we got a couple of veterans going against each other in this makeup game this afternoon. And for the Cardinals, Hungo, it is the lefty Steven Matz getting his 5th start of the season.
Yeah, he's pitched well, but then he's had one bad inning here at Busch Stadium. But on the road, he's pitched very well. He's a ground ball specialist. He's got to establish that sinker. Then he keeps his off-speed stuff. Primarily that changeup really is effective. Will throw a bigger curveball and occasional slider. But I think he's in the shape now and ready for this performance to go out there. And of course, we know Greinke can be very tough on the other side. So this may be kind of low scoring until later in the ball game.
Absolutely. There you see the numbers of the career of Zack Greinke making his return for the Royals. And we talked about during the pregame show, 4 starts so far this season for Mike Matheny's team, and he's only got 6 runs of support.
Well, it's like Michaelis. You know, Michaelis ain't getting run support either. There's always one guy in the staff.
Well, the Royals just wrapped up the series in Kansas City against the Yankees. What happened yesterday? We'll tell you about it when we go around the league when we come back. They won their 9th straight game, swept the Royals in Kansas City yesterday. And here comes the Judge, Aaron Judge, with not 1, but 2 home runs yesterday against KC pitching. And it was the Yanks over the Royals by a score of 6-4. Steven Matz getting the start this afternoon. Harrison Bader leading things off. Dan and Jim will have more on the Cards leadoff hitter when we come back.
Cardinals and Royals, 1 game here, then we head across the state, 2 games against Kansas City. Harrison Bader at the top of the lineup for St. Louis today. Jimmy starting to pick it up.
Yeah, he is, and you see him now at the top of the order because of that, making adjustments and sticking with them. You see those last 5 games. The key to those last 5 games and that average is being able to foul pitches off, staying in the at-bat longer, not swinging at balls, and getting into a better hitting situation.
There was the home run yesterday and a big one for St. Louis as they salvaged a split against Arizona. Harrison Bader, the leadoff man today. The I-70 series. Zack Greinke, Steven Matz. Baseball coming up. To you by Budweiser. This Bud's for you. And by Chevrolet, the #1 selling brand in the St. Louis area. Find yours at your Mid-America Chevy dealer. It's a chilly day in the makeup game, the Kansas City Royals and the St. Louis Cardinals. Cardinals with a win yesterday, split the 4-game set with Arizona. They're now 12-9. Royals were beaten by the Yankees late in their game. They're now 7-13 to start the year. And with Jim Edmonds, Jim Hayes, I'm Dan McLaughlin. And away we go on a chilly Monday afternoon here in the Midwest. And the first pitch taken for a ball inside. Edward Olivares on a 3-game hitting streak. He's 4 for his last 7 and fouls that back. And the Hyundai pitch arsenal for Steven Matz.
You can see right there, fastball, breaking ball, and off speed, which would probably be the changeup most of the time. Just needs to pitch. You know, he's done a nice job of getting ahead at times, and then he's done a poor job of getting ahead. And so use all of his pitches and throw strikes.
Missed in, and it's 2-2. Alberto Mondesi tore his ACL in Chicago, so he is done for the season. That is a big loss for Kansas City, and that's tap foul. So Olivares at the top of their lineup, batting an even 300 with no home runs and 1 run batted in. Last year split the season between Kansas City and AAA Omaha. He was recalled 9 different times. 9.
That would be the Omaha shuttle.
I would say so. We got the Memphis shuttle in St. Louis and the Omaha for Kansas City. 9 times, man.
That's a lot. But
That's
you know what?
Fouled back.
At least it's him that's going up and down and not someone else.
I guess that drive makes it a little bit easier when you're coming to Kansas City as opposed to going out of state.
I think going the other way would not be so much fun. I think if you do that a couple of times, you might think about just veering off left and heading home once in a while.
Yeah. He's battling right now. A pitch at 95 from Matz. Has his velocity surprised you a bit?
A little bit. I didn't think he threw that hard. And I don't know if he did in the past. But that's also one of those things, you know, when you try to pick it up a notch, you might lose a little bit of control.
There's a changeup pulled foul on the 3-2.
I think at the beginning of the year, that the first day that he really dotted in and really got aggressive, I don't think he was up that high in velocity. He was in maybe 92, 93, and I thought that was about all he topped out at. And I actually thought that was good.
Originally signed as an international free agent by Toronto in 2014. We've seen him in San Diego and then acquired by Kansas City in 2020. 3-2 pitch. Fouled back by Olivares. So at least an 11 pitch at bat to start the game.
Well, this is what you want your leadoff hitter to do if you're Mike Matheny, correct?
100%. 3-2 pitch.
Look at his hands right there, too. It almost has like a little tiny split grip. You see that? Trying to maybe get a little more top hand. Hey, there's Mike Matheny. Good afternoon. Some guy, like, he looks like he kind of drags the bat a little bit, almost like he's not getting to the fastball. I'm wondering if that top hand, the way it looks, is trying to prevent that or trying to stop that from happening.
And Matz wins the battle and a strikeout to start this afternoon. 12 pitch at bat by Olivares.
That's when you're like uncle as the pitcher. You're like, come on.
So we saw the other day with Paul Goldschmidt and Madison Bumgarner. Olivares at the top, then Merrifield, Benintendi, Perez, Santana, Dozier, Bobby Witt Jr., Taylor, and Lopez. Starting 9 for Mike Matheny. Whit Merrifield has proven himself to be one tough out.
Could say that again for the next 9 innings. This guy could play.
Big time. Steals bases. Among the leaders in hits and average. Plays solid defense. You can play him around the infield as well. And he plays every day. He's playing in his 490th consecutive game. That extends the Royals franchise record. And that is the Major League Baseball most consecutive games played since Prince Fielder. He had 547. The streak that began in September of 2010 and then would end mid-May of 2014.
Right on the heels of Cal.
It's only 2,142 away. I think I did the numbers last year. He would have to play every day until he's like 45 or 46.
I was with you that day when
Yeah.
we did that game.
It's incredible. Cal Ripken played a major league record 2,632 games. And a pitch taken just a bit high, and it's 2-2.
I was there for the 3 games before, during, and after the days of that streak. Pretty awesome.
So you saw him go around the warning track.
He
and
ran right past me.
waved to the fans.
Yep. I took a knee and sat there for, I think it was about 20 minutes.
Take in history.
Yeah, it was cool.
3-2 pitch.
And every time you see it, same thing sticks out in my mind every time. Velarde double for New York. It's on the scoreboard every time he runs by it, or every time they show the number. Because I played with Randy Velarde, and it's just funny, is every time they show the big scoreboard of the number, you know, then it just says right below it, it'll say Velarde. 2-run double for New York.
3-2 pitch popped up into shallow right. Carlson calling out Brendan Donovan, and he makes the catch. Cardinals defense around the horn brought to you by Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers. Goldschmidt back in there at first base. Brendan Donovan in for Tommy Edman. DeYoung at short. Arenado is at third. Kisner behind the plate. O'Neill, Bader, and Carlson. I worked the final game that Cal played in, that final season of his last year, and that also was very, very special. It was amazing to be there that night. The pitch taken in by Benintendi. Off to a good start, hitting .366. 1 home run, and he's driven in 10. That average 3rd best in the American League.
You know, that pop-up right there for not being around as much, not breaking with the team. Brendan Donovan did a nice job of getting out of the way of Carlson coming in. That's a key, I think, for an outfielder. When they call off the infielder, you don't want him just to stop and stand. And he made an effort to get out of the way, get out of the side of view. And that's a big deal. Every time you see problems with the outfielder and the infielder, usually is because the infielder doesn't move. He just gives up and stops.
And also Dillon's got to understand too, he's going to get to more balls with Tommy Edman not at second base more than likely, and there's a base hit to left.
We'll swing.
So 2-out hit, Andrew Benintendi, and it brings in Salvador Perez.
You can't draw it up any better than that, can you?
Always looks nice off the bat of a left-handed batter too.
On top of the ball, staying inside it, doesn't try to pull it, perfectly level. And look, it's like he's, you know what's really awesome is when you see that, he's trying to do that. He's not just like, it wasn't an accident, he didn't get beat, got the ball out over the plate, and he kind of just tried to stay on it and shoot it over the shortstop's head.
And with Perez coming to the plate, quick visit with Kisner and Matz. Salvador Perez has had great numbers against St. Louis in his career. A .308 average, but 9 home runs. He had 2 against St. Louis earlier this year. 9 total and 5 walks, and he's driven in 23. What a career he's putting together too. You got Yadi on one end of the state, Perez on the other, and he's done a lot of damage this year against lefties. 8 for 17. That's a .471 average. 4 doubles and a home run.
Yeah, I felt like he was just here the other day and scorching balls out of the ballpark. Not if you live in the middle of Missouri and you can look to the right. You got one catcher to idolize, and I know, and you look to the left. I think that's amazing. Like, you know, it's just like somebody's going to be on TV every single night.
And you got one that will go down as one of the greatest catchers ever defensively, the greatest of his generation, and this is one of the best hitting catchers. I mean, Perez is good defensively, but he can swing the bat. Nearly 50 home runs a year ago. And he hits it high in the air, right center, and Bader under it. Harrison Bader will lead it off in the home half of the first. It's a makeup game here at Busch Stadium, and there is no score. Spot, and yesterday late he needed it. So did the Cardinals. A 2-run homer that put them on top. They never looked back. Nolan Arenado would follow with a solo homer. Ryan Helsley finished it off in the final 2 innings as Bader picked up his first home run of 2022. So he's at the top. Then Paul Goldschmidt and Tyler O'Neill. Nolan Arenado, Corey Dickerson, the designated hitter, Paul DeYoung, Dylan Carlson, Andrew Kisner, and Brendan Donovan. He was drafted in 2002 and still going, and that is Zach Greinke, back where it all started with the Kansas City Royals. And he has put together a Hall of Fame career this year. He is 0-1 with an ERA that is at 2.86. Pitchmaker, the Hyundai pitch arsenal for Zach Greinke.
Well, the velocity's down now. Been around for a long time, so he has to be a pitch maker. And you can see mixing it up. It's a lot of different pitches, and I love the fact that he's still grunting at 88 miles an hour.
2.86 ERA, 10th best right now in the American League. And the 1-0 pitch.
Oof, that's the one to hit right there.
1-1 the count. One of the 26 pitchers that qualify for the American League ERA title. Only 3 have yet to record a win as Bader sends it out to shallow center for the out. That's Merrifield making the catch. Dobbs Tire and Auto Centers around the horn. Benintendi, Taylor, and Olivares in the outfield. That's Bobby Witt Jr., their young third baseman, #1 prospect in the game. Lopez at short, Merrifield at second, Santana at first, and Salvador Perez behind the plate. And it brings in Paul Goldschmidt. These two saw each other a lot in the National League West. Greinke with the Dodgers and Paul with Arizona. 7 for 28, couple of home runs against this right-hander. And the 0-1.
Like how he's got that little pause right there, and then he kind of short arms the ball. He always has, and the ball will get a little sneaky on you. But even that pause now, he's trying to slow it down and then even more sneak. So that's been his way of throwing off the timing and the rhythm of the hitters. And then he knows that the ball jumps out of his hand even at 88. So that's something to look at too.
Tremendous athlete is Greinke too. Could swing the bat. Swinging the bat, it's Goldie. The 0-2 out to deep left. 1-0 St. Louis. Paul Goldschmidt, home run number 2. And the Cardinals jump on top early.
Yeah, that just looked like it hurt the baseball right there. That ball really didn't travel, but that was quick. This is the same pitch that Bader took for a strike. Same exact pitch, same exact velocity, same exact location. And that's why I winced when he didn't swing, because I know that's what's going to happen if he leaves it up there too many times today. That was loud.
Here's Tyler O'Neill.
So what do you want to know? How
And that pitch there was almost identical. A little bit more on the outer
Just
portion of the plate.
The outer edge of the plate, yeah, but that was, wow. Talk about quick bat right there, huh?
So the 8th hit for Goldie against Greinke and his 3rd home run against him. The 0-1 pitch.
What a day off will do for you. The bat speed back.
It was by design yesterday, and Albert Pujols played first base for the Cardinals for the first time since Game 7 of the 2011 World Series.
There's another slider right here. He's going to try to make sure he gets it away. Oof.
And a strikeout of Tyler O'Neill, the first of the afternoon for Zach Greinke. So Greinke was in the 2002 draft. The Cardinals did not have a first-round choice of that season. And it was Brian Bullington of Pittsburgh who went #1 overall. They were always picking high and just not getting guys to stick. The long couple of decades of losing for the Pirates. Signability issues with certain players, didn't draft them, passed them up. But you have to get the talent if you're taking that high.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's amazing when you think about, you almost like think that's a no-lose situation when you get a #1 pick. #1.
Here's the 0-1 pitch. Now 0-2.
That's probably work goes behind that too, as far as your due diligence over time and just money spent traveling and research and doctors and just health reports and then all of a sudden, just scratch that, start over.
0-2 pitch to Arenado. Took something off it as Nolan dropped to a knee. 69 miles an hour. Greinke will do that. Kind of like how Waino will do it too. Just flip in that 65 to 70 mile an hour pitch.
I don't know if I would do it to Arenado a whole lot though. This guy can stay on the breaking ball with the best of them. And you look at right here, he misses it, but look at the, I mean, he's going after it. Oh no, he doesn't want that changeup. He's going to try to sneak a fastball by him.
The 0-2 put in play by Nolan. Off the line, Santana and Greinke to the bag.
That's exactly where the short arm surprise comes from right there.
Home run hit by Goldie, his second of the year. He has driven in 11. 1 inning in the books. 1-0 St. Louis. Let's check in with Jim Hayes.
Danny Harrison Bader had the big homer yesterday. Today he's in the leadoff spot as Tommy Edman gets a day. Ollie Marmol told me Bader is a perfect choice for that. He said he's done a nice job of taking whatever is given to him. He's been battling in every at-bat. Yesterday we saw him battle and then hit one out. Bader homered from the #2 spot yesterday. He joked in his post-game interview. He said it's about time we had a #2 hitter who could hit. Danny Harrison trending up.
And that #2 hitter primarily has been Paul Goldschmidt.
Goldie took a little offense to that and said, I'll show you. Take that, Harry.
Carlos Santana at the plate. Hunter Dozier and Bobby Witt Jr. So Tommy Edman not in the lineup, but Ollie saying that he does feel much better today. And he could have played, but this was a scheduled off day anyway. He said one of the things that we have to do is monitor his workload. And talking about Tommy Edman, he plays hard. He's stealing bags. He's all over the diamond defensively. So it's something that we have to be very conscious of.
Well, I think the game is a lot harder than most people think on your body. And then when you get a guy who is up the middle on defense and then pretty good hitter and then can run too and steals bases, you're talking about a lot more effort and a lot more pounding on that body than the normal guy that's standing at first or third or right or left. So 3 middle positions are tough, and then catcher obviously, but guys that run and steal and do all that, that's a lot of stress on the legs day in and day out.
There's Hunter Dozier. So Tommy Edman off to a really good start. His defensive metrics have actually been better to start this year than they were last year, in which he won the Gold Glove.
It's another fastball at 95 right there.
Cardinals with some roster moves here today as well. Packy Naughton sent to AAA Memphis, and Aaron Brooks was designated for assignment. And when Ollie was asked why, he's very succinct, very much to the point. He said performance. And a ground ball that's hit to short. And Jimmy, the thing I liked about it, because then he went back in his office and talked even more about it. He said, look, do I think Aaron Brooks can help a bullpen? Absolutely. Can he have a skill set to get a lot of ground balls? Yes. But he said, what kind of message are we sending to the team if we send guys down with options that have performed to be here? And if you're a player, I think you respect that.
Well, I think
I know I do.
Well, you know, we talk about a lot of guys getting stuck in the minor leagues behind, say, a Yadi Molina or a Albert Pujols or a Goldschmidt or whatever, Derek Jeter, let's say. Yeah, I was always in favor of saying, hey, this guy can play. Let's use him. Let's give him an opportunity to help his family survive in the world. Let's move on, give him away, and get something in return. Or release the young man, let him go play for someone else.
So the #1 prospect in baseball is Bobby Witt Jr. Off to a slow start. Count of 1 ball and 2 strikes. With 2 outs and nobody on.
Sure, he's probably putting no pressure on himself at all.
Absolutely not. Doesn't hear that he's the best prospect in baseball and he's going to be the face of the franchise. He's the next George Brett. All those things. Glove by DeYoung. Tough play, and he beat it out.
Run, too.
It's now a 10-game hitting streak for Bobby Witt Jr. He's 12 for his last 36 as he flew down the line. That's his 17th hit, which is in the top 3 of all rookies in the American League. Not even close.
No, it wasn't. And Paul made a great play on that ball, too. Didn't do anything wrong. Made a similar play yesterday. And coming around a ball like that and making a great play, but you can't beat that speed.
Now, with that base hit, Bobby Witt Jr. joins Eric Hosmer and Billy Butler. Only Royals in the history of their organization to have a 10-game hitting streak before their 22nd birthday. So we always forget he is 21 years old.
Wow.
Supposed to be maybe a junior in college and hanging out with his buddies. Instead, he's at first base next to Goldie. There's Michael A. Taylor, the former National. I'm sure a veteran like Goldie, when Witt gets to first base, maybe you have a little conversation like, how's it going? Welcome to the big leagues. Those things happen all the time.
Played against your dad.
That's right.
Struggling, help.
Here's the 0-1 pitch. Matz to Taylor. 4 for 26 with a home run head-to-head with Steven Matz. Those two saw each other in the National League East with the Mets and the Nationals.
He doesn't throw over here again.
Toyota key to the game with ball game. Jimmy Edmonds.
Well, Matt Greinke basically, and that's just going out there pitch for pitch. You think that you're facing Greinke, he's going to be out there for the duration. So a little bit of a bullpen game yesterday. So you want to stay in the game as long as you can.
1-2 the count. In his previous start, Matz had a visit with Ollie Marmol. And it looked like Ollie was going to take him out. And they went out and had a conversation. And Ollie said, look, I know he's going to tell me, I got this guy, I got this guy. He said, my first question was to him, how are you going to get him? Let me hear your mindset. There's a strikeout on the inside corner. Stayed with him. He got the next 5 outs. 2 strikeouts for Matz. And a closer look at Zach Greinke. 3rd in wins among active pitchers, over 2,700 innings, 2nd most, and closing in on 2,500 strikeouts. Corey Dickerson just 3 for 22 against the Royals right-hander, who signed after the lockout to go back to Kansas City. His offseason home is in Arizona, and he was playing golf. And George Brett was on the course. And George apparently likes to play with new people all the time. And they're at a particular club, and somebody drives out Zach Greinke, and he says, hey, there's this guy Zach that wants to play with you. Can he join you? And George said, absolutely. Bring him out. Love to play with him. And then all of a sudden the cart got closer and closer. He says, wait a minute. Is that Zach Greinke? He said, Zach, what are you doing? And Zach is very close with the Brett family because in his first season in the big leagues, he lived in George's basement. And it was supposed to be for like a month. He lived the entire year there, became very close with George's sons. They're all very, very tight. And obviously always have stayed in touch. But he's made a few bucks since then. So he does have his own place to live now in Kansas City.
Well, if you're going to stay somewhere in Kansas City, George Brett's house might be on the top of the list.
Those two are very, very close.
What a great guy George Brett is, too, though.
George said to him, you know, what do you want to do? What's going to happen with you? And this is, again, before he had signed. He said, I think I'd like to go back to Kansas City. And George was floored. He said, really? He said, yeah. He said, I just loved it. It's where it all started for me. And
probably can make that happen.
Yeah. Greinke also talked about when the Royals figured it out and they got much better and went to 2 World Series, won one of those. And he said the town is a great sports town. Want to experience that. Won the Cy Young Award in '09, 6-time All-Star. Mentioned he's just a terrific all-around athlete. He's won 6 Gold Gloves. And probably not real happy to come to a National League ballpark and see the DH in play. He can swing the bat too.
Probably the reason he wanted to come back and play a little bit. And, you know, even though Kansas City's on the other side, but gosh, you'd like to just get the hit once in a while, wouldn't you, if you're that good?
Never know. He might pinch hit.
Do you know, they were saying one time, I think we just left Pittsburgh, and they were saying that he was peppering that center field batter's eye in batting practice to dead center. Like it was like 425 feet, and he was just smashing balls off of it in batting practice.
He's one shy of becoming a 10-10 guy. 10 homers, 10 steals.
10 homers, 10 years. 10 homers is a lot for a pitcher.
The year he won the Cy Young Award, he was 16-8, had 229 in a third innings and an ERA just above 2. He won the ERA title. Breaking ball hit to the right side. Second baseman Merrifield, and Greinke covering the bag. Got past the diving Carlos Santana. Nicely done defensively by the Royals. MLB Ballpark app will complete your next visit to Busch Stadium. Buy and manage game tickets, unlock offers, access exclusive content, much more. And all you have to do is download the MLB Ballpark app today. Here's Paul DeJong. What are you seeing right now, Jimmy, as we kind of go into the hitting side of things with you? We love to do that on our broadcast when we have you in the booth. What do you see right now with Paul DeJong?
Well, I see him starting to work on trying to flatten out his swing a little bit. And I see that he's making an effort to let the ball get deep. I think he was making some adjustments, and then he got a little underneath a couple of balls. And I actually had a conversation with him the other day, and he said, I'm just all of a sudden now, as I'm starting to feel better, now I'm popping balls up. I said, okay, well, let's try to figure out how to get you back on top of the ball. So he's been working with the guys down there, and Turner Ward and Jeff, and they've been just really trying to simplify everything. And you know, it's really weird because when you get into struggles, you start to think about all of the stuff that's going on around you, except for standing in the box, watching the ball come out of the pitcher's hand and trying to hit it. You start thinking, here's my stance, here's this, here's what I'm trying to do. You can't do all that. You know, and
foul ball, he's still alive.
And then in the middle of your struggles, and then when you're trying to work through them and you have a bad at bat, you're almost like, man, that's not working either. Well, sometimes you just have to tip your hat, you know, to the pitcher makes a good pitch. Like that sinker right there, that's incredible. Like the movement. I don't know if that's a changeup or a sinker, but I just think sometimes when you're trying to work through things, you're going to go through troubles, even when you think you're right.
And the 0-2 pitch. Well, you mentioned pop-ups
right there too.
I've just seen, again, a lot of almost like an uppercut.
Well, he did that for like 3 days. It was really like drastically different. And then the key for me one day was in the same game, he swung straight up at a high fastball, and then he popped up a low fastball. And so that meant he was really trying to lift, and he was really getting, you know, you can't really lift with your body first. You know, the bat gets through the zone, and when you see guys finish high, that's just a finish. That's not like trying to lift the ball. You can't lean back, and you can't guide the ball in the air. You just have to hit the bottom of the baseball, and that will get the lift. And so the lift,
like that.
Yeah, the lift.
Albert.
The lift comes after contact, is just the bat going up.
1-2 pitch, breaking ball. Little squibber hit to short, and Lopez makes the play. That's out number 2.
That is slow right there. That was 68.
Well, he's one to throw an eephus pitch too. He's done that. I mean, he's fun to watch. I mean, Ali was talking about that before the game. He said obviously he's very, very talented, but especially at this stage in his career, with all the innings under his belt, all the years, he said he's crafty and smart, and very much like that guy right there, Adam Wainwright. They find ways to get you out.
Well, I think it's funny. I think it's almost like the older you get, the less you care. And the more you just rely on your stuff. Just going to throw this, and if I throw it in the right spot, I should get my out. Instead of worrying about it.
Broken bat by Carlson to third, taken there by Witt. Cardinals go in order. Mobile coverage cam. And a makeup game on this Monday afternoon, and it had to be moved up with apparently bad weather coming in here to the Midwest. And so these two teams will pack up quickly and then head to the other side of the state and continue the series tomorrow night at Kauffman Stadium.
Be a good little
First
crowd.
Pitch taken low.
Be a good little crowd for an emergency 12-15 game.
Not bad at all. It's actually better than I thought it might be. Here's the 1-0 pitch. 2 balls and no strikes. See Lopez, he'll go the other way. Bader shading him towards left. 35 hits to left field since the start of 2021, and that's 5th most in the American League.
You can just see right there in that one swing. That tells you everything. You can learn a lot by watching swings, and that's
absolutely
the way you play defense. Is if a person's going to swing like that in the first pitch, it's pretty much telling you that's what he's trying to do. So usually early on you're trying to swing big, but if you stay inside the ball, then that's your idea. So yeah, slide on over.
With 2 strikes, Arenado backing up at third base. 2-2 the count. 5th start as a member of the Cardinals for Steven Matz, and the 2-2 put in play. Brendan Donovan to his right, and the first out here in the top of the 3rd.
It's like Kansas City's got a couple of flyers, don't they? The guys can run.
Yes. Well, if they get on, Mike Matheny will start the runners. Cardinals with some news, obviously, with the roster that we talked about. Also, Drew Verhagen, who's dealing with the hip impingement, will pitch tomorrow for Memphis. And then after that outing, he's going to start that game. They'll see what the next step is in his comeback. And that is off the wall, taken there by Carlson. And the leadoff man, Olivares, with a 1-out stand-up double here in the top of the 3rd. Just the 3rd hit allowed by Steven Matz. So Verhagen starts tomorrow, and then he may make another start. We'll have to see.
I think it's a tough pitch right here because he blew him away in his first at bat, and it looked like he had a little bit of a slow swing, and then you just gave him this. And I'll tell you what, Danny, this ball felt like it was never going to come down. It just kept going and going and going.
All right, you got to help me out. What's going on with the baseballs here the last 2 days?
Yeah, I don't. Maybe they turn the humidifier off or the humidor or whatever they're called. I don't know. You know what's really funny is I said this yesterday on the post game. So if they're saying that nothing changed with the baseballs,
as Merrifield hits it out to right field, Carlson with the catch. Olivares not going anywhere, and that's number
move.
2.
So if they haven't done anything with the baseballs, they haven't changed anything about them. They're not harder. They're not softer. Then why do we have a humidor? And then now, why? I mean, what happened over the last 10 years?
Well, baseball is saying that once it starts to get warm in some of the colder weather cities, that it'll probably even out. You're going to see the ball travel a little bit more. I guess time will tell. Kansas City with runners in scoring position, 4th lowest in baseball, 193 average. The fewest runs batted in this spot. Home runs, they don't have one yet with a runner in scoring position. And they've only had 145 at bats in this position, a month plus into the season. That's 4th from the bottom in baseball. So they're trying to generate some offense here.
And I got news for you, Dan.
Yes, sir.
You don't need a humidor for the ball not to travel in the winter and then travel in the summer, because that's just the way the ball works. That's why we wait for the summer months.
That's why they always say when the weather gets warm, certain players heat up.
Yep. Dave Parker once said, when the leaves turn brown, I will be wearing the batting crown. That is a true statement.
Do you see the special on him on MLB Network?
No, I have not seen it yet.
It's called, I think it was Cobra.
The Cobra.
It's great.
He was my hitting coach for a little bit.
Yep. I remember when he was here. You had the hitman, Mike Easler. That's sharply hit. Goldie to Matz. On Valley Sports Midwest, coverage of game number 1 in Minnesota starts at 8. John Kelly, Darren Pang, and they will have the call right here on Valley Sports Midwest. Stanley Cup playoffs.
I love it. You got the NBA playoffs, Stanley Cup playoffs, and the weather warming up. Maybe we'll see some good basketball, some good hockey, and maybe we'll see some homers.
On the heels of the Masters, too. I love the Masters at this time of year.
Yeah, it's a good thing it's not a couple more weeks or another month later. It'd be hot.
Yes, it would. Strike into Kisner. Does it surprise you that Andrew Kisner has taken 47% of the at-bats by Cardinal catchers this year?
I would say yes, but given the circumstances, I would say a smart move by the management and Ollie to let Yachty work his way back into shape.
Popped up right side out of play. Kisner had a caught stealing, was on base a couple of times yesterday.
He's been throwing the ball. He's been doing a great job all the way around. I'm surprised he's hitting 300, but I love, and I'm saying that in a negative way, but I love the fact that he made some, he's another one of those guys that made an adjustment this winter. You know, the year before with O'Neill making a huge adjustment, and you can see his hands are different. He's not taking that big swing anymore. He's maybe working a little bit more on contact. And you know what's funny is I think at least one of the 2 home runs that he hit, one in spring training and one here, was late in the count. So that just goes to show you, you don't have to get big and swing hard to do damage. And you just have to keep your balance and get a nice good swing, get some extension. And it's just a credit. Like, guys go to winter ball in the middle of their big league careers, you don't hear about that. But to get better, to get more playing time, it's a great job.
2-2 the count. So 2 hits yesterday. That snapped his 0 for 5. He is hitless head-to-head against Greinke, 0 for 3. Greinke, with men on, he gets stingy. And the average against him is the 2nd lowest in the American League. But with nobody on, that's lifted in the air down the right field line. And sliding for it will be Olivares.
Did that young man catch that ball in the stands? Because that was a heck of a play.
You got to be careful, too. Remember, it was a play like that last year where it might have been Kisner who was at the plate, ironically enough, but
he's not
made the catch, and I don't think he's leaning over, but they called him out. But that's a good play.
That was a great play, and that ball's in the stands. He's got every right to catch that ball.
So with the bases empty,
play of the day right there.
Greinke has given up 2 home runs now, the only 2 this season, and the opposition came in batting close to .330 against him. That's what good pitchers do, though, get runners on and they get tougher. That's fouled back.
You can see, I think if you just pay attention and watch Salvi behind the plate, when he puts his glove down, Zach hits it. When he wants his glove up, he throws it there. It's not like, I think he made one bad pitch with the slider to Goldie, and then I don't know, the slider to Bader early in the game. I think he was just trying to throw a get me over, but other than that, he's pretty much throwing the ball exactly where he's supposed to throw it.
And the breaking ball.
I mean, even that ball stayed up a little bit, but by the time it gets to the glove, Perez has put his right where he's going to catch it, right where he wanted it.
Righty's hitting .283, the lefty's .242. Greinke has been on some really good teams with the Dodgers. Was in Arizona, now with Kansas City again after a long run beginning his pro career with the Royals. Get the look behind Andrew Kisner, and the next by Zach Greinke.
See the explosion of the short arm fastball right there. At a blistering 88.
Average fastball velocity for Zach Greinke is 88.6. That's tied with Wainwright, and then number 1 slowest is Kyle Hendricks. As Perez gives it a look, out of play. So when you have guys that are throwing like this, so Hendricks is 86.6. Waino Greinke 88.6. Zach Davies, who we saw over the weekend, 88.9. You know, what's the approach with a hitter when you're seeing continually 95 to 100?
I'm going to give you the opposite of what you were asking, because I'm going to tell you what the fear is. The fear is you're going to respect the breaking ball, respect the changeup, so you can't be too quick on the fastball. But mentally, you know, if you sell yourself for an off-speed pitch, that he could dot a fastball middle in and freeze you. So that's what allows him to throw these slow curveballs and changeups and stuff like that, because guys still see fastball, middle in, something in, and panic. It's like, you know, the whole we talked about with Greg Maddux ever threw 95. I mean, he would be unhittable. He was hard to hit at the velocity that he threw because you never knew it was coming. Same thing with Zach. You don't know what's going to happen when that ball comes out of his hand. And every now and then, when you're thinking off speed and he zaps that 88-mile-an-hour fastball in there, it looks 95.
This would be the 11th pitch of the at-bat, lined out to left. And the catch made by Benintendi. Good at-bat by Kisner, 11 pitches. We mentioned Greg Maddux. It's Zach Greinke, Maddux, and Bob Gibson, one of 3 pitchers in the history of baseball with 6 or more Gold Gloves and 6 All-Star Game appearances. This is one of 3 on the mound today here at Busch. Brendan Donovan. Kisner fouled off 6 pitches in that at bat. 11 pitches total and lining out to left. Here's a 1-0 pitch to Donovan. Drops in for a strike.
You can see right there, Donovan sees the pitch, but he's already given up on it because he's fastball ready. And then the breaking ball's so slow, it's like, I see it, but I can't hit it. I can't pull my hands back through it again.
And it's 1-2. This homestand making his major league debut. Got his first major league hit. Also drove in his first run yesterday just by putting the ball in play.
That was, I thought, a key at bat.
Me too.
Really, it was a really good job.
And the 1-2 pitch.
That's a sinker right there, and that is some kind of sinker. He went straight down. 2009, Danny won the Cy Young, right? 2.16. His average fastball velocity was 93.5.
Yeah.
I don't know how they measure the half, but.
And Donovan, a base hit. Stayed back on it, drives it into right center. And a 1-out hit for the 9th place batter in the St. Louis lineup.
This is what happens when you take a fastball because you're looking breaking ball. You take a breaking ball because you're looking fastball, and you finally just tell yourself, just relax and get a pitch. And so he slows down a little bit and stays right with the breaking ball. And that is a really good piece of hitting right there. Everything done correctly. Stayed back, hands stayed back. Ready for fastball, but when you see the breaking ball, you just kind of sit for a second and then react to it.
And now it is Bader. He fouled off a pitch to stay alive before hitting that home run yesterday. And Ollie was saying when he's doing that, we feel like he's slowing it down, slowing things down, not pulling off. He said we really start to look at that and feel like he's doing that right now, slowing everything down at the plate.
Well, when he starts fighting pitches off that are off the plate outside, and at the end you can see him consciously trying to push it over the dugout, you know he's making adjustments, not only at the plate but in his mind. And he has sold himself on, hey, I can do this. And so I was texting with him yesterday, and I hope maybe we can show this later, but the best thing about that home run was for him was the first time that when he put his front foot down, it was still closed. And he hit against that front foot, the front side, and everything stayed locked in.
Ground ball hit to short. Out there, the quick turn. What a turn by Merrifield. In and out of the glove and right over to first. 6-4-3 on the double play. Recognize people and places pitching in to make a difference. Today we salute local nonprofit Gwendolyn's Gifts, inspired by their daughter. Mark Kramer founded Gwendolyn's Gifts as a way to provide emotional and financial support to other families of children on hospice care. Thank you to Gwendolyn's Gifts for pitching in for the community. Here's Salvador Perez, fly to center. And the first pitch off the plate for a ball. He's 0 for his last 11, but we know that could change.
Since he left here?
Yep, one swing. This guy could swing it. Woo, what a cut. 1-1.
Trying to just kind of fillet it to the other way to right field there, like Yadi, that swing?
Not so much.
Not really.
No. But that Albert, Yadi, and Waino all together inside that Cardinal dugout. Guys that you know quite well.
Look at the ball jump out of Matt's hands. And yes, I do. I was telling a story the other day. I got on the bus. I think it was in Cincinnati. The day you didn't get on the bus, I believe. The day you went to dinner. And
after the game, I did go to a dinner.
Game.
Yes.
I got on the bus and sat in the second seat. Waino sat in front of me.
Okay.
Albert sat across from me, and Yadi sat in front of him. So the four of us were sitting in the front of the bus, having it was like 2006 all over again.
Perez hits it to deep left. And there is O'Neill at the edge of the track to make the catch. Well, we have a moment. Quick word from Rally House.
Play ball, St. Louis. Shop the latest in Cardinals style with your favorite brands and throwback designs. Rally House has gear for every fan.
Carlos Santana, switch hitter, fly to right. One thing I've noticed, Jimmy, with that group, Waino's pretty much always been smiling his entire career, but the other two, you know, they're
having a little more fun.
I think so.
Well, you know what's interesting, and I don't mean to bring up anything that's not kind of out there, but I talked to Yadi a bunch, and he said to me one time, which he just really wasn't in having that much fun last year, and he was really battling through injuries and just fatigue and just a lot of things, and we can all see what that looks like. And now better place for a couple of those guys. Adam just being Adam. I mean,
ripped out to left center. Bader diving for it past him and all the way to the wall. Backing it up, O'Neill, and Santana in at second base, and the great effort there by Bader.
I thought he was going to catch that ball. I almost said, watch this catch, Danny, but it was just barely. I'm going to see if this ball's two seaming away. This changeup right here. If he hits this ball with a little bit of a two-seam spin, it kind of runs away from you. You can see it didn't do the natural kind of cut back. He hit it pretty square. Normally a right-hander hits that ball, it'll kind of tail just enough back to center field, and I thought for sure if it did any of that, he was going to catch that with no problem. But I guess that's what you expect when you watch him play every day.
And now it brings in Hunter Dozier, but that trio having fun this year.
Yeah, it's fun to watch too. First guy up on the step yesterday when Albert did something well, and then Yadi, and then Bader hits the home run, and Yadi's the first one up on the step for him. And you always see Waino cheering, and it's just it's like we were talking about with Yadi about Kisner not playing a little bit more than he's normally been playing, and they bring so much to the table other than just playing on the field each day, and there's just so much knowledge and value there, and tell me when the last time you saw him doing that.
I haven't.
I don't even know if I've ever seen him smile in the dugout before. Yeah, no. That's usually what you see in the bus, the locker room,
his charity events.
Yeah, dinner. You don't see that in the dugout very often at all.
No, he is all business.
Do you remember when we saw him in, I think it was Milwaukee?
Strikeout for Mats, and that's number 3.
Couple swings maybe in Milwaukee, or maybe it was Cincinnati. And he came back after a tough at bat, and he just kind of marched over to the thing, put his stuff down, and sat down and grabbed the iPad and just sat and just like, Arr. He's like, hey, Daddy. He's like the older brother right there.
Asked Ollie about Albert not being in the lineup today. And when Greinke was scheduled to pitch against the Cardinals earlier this season, Ollie had said, don't be surprised to see Albert in the lineup. And I said, today, why not? And he said, basically, he has to remind himself that he's 42 years old. And he played 9 innings in the field yesterday. And we got to keep him as fresh as we can for that one time to come off the bench or to get that start here or there. There'll be some lefties coming up this week that he wants to get him in. He said now if he was the DH yesterday would have been a different story. But
this is unbelievable right here watching these guys.
Being the everyday first baseman, he said, no, I don't want to do that.
He just gave up right there. He's like, I've had enough of you, Yadi. I'm out of here. Yadi's been messing with him for an inning. I'll tell you what, though. Go back to what, looking at those 3 guys. Albert looks like he's in amazing shape. Look at him. Come back over here, please.
Ollie ran into Albert like in November, and he said at that time, I'm not so sure Albert was in shape for a full season. He said he got after it. He said he's in great condition. The 2-1 pitch, and it's now a count of 2-2. Bobby Witt Jr. at the plate. Extended his hitting streak to 10 with an infield hit.
There's a game going on. We're watching the days of our lives of those 3.
And Matz is set, and here comes a 2-2. We have a lefty going for Kansas City on Wednesday. Brad Keller going tomorrow against Dakota Hudson. Keller 0-2, but an ERA of 2.19. So the righty has been pretty good. So that Witt got the infield hit his first time up. He's tied for first in baseball with the best sprint speed in the game. Jose Siri of Houston along with him. As Witt hits it out of play. And he got down the line on that first base hit.
He did. I was shocked. That's pretty good at bat right there too.
This will be pitch number 69 for Steven Matz. And the 2-2 popped him up on the infield. Goldie wants it and has it. Royals have left 4 on midway through 4, having a little fun. 1-0 St. Louis. Busch Stadium and a makeup game on this Monday afternoon. Paul Goldschmidt with a home run back in the first inning, his second of the year. 71 career first inning homers, 4th most among active players. And no surprise at the top, Albert Pujols 154 home runs in the first inning. It's his 36th homer, batting in the number 2 spot. And that ties Hall of Famer Red Schoendienst for most in club history from the 2 spot in the St. Louis lineup. 0-2 pitch. So you have the home run by Goldie, the base hit to center by Donovan, and that's been the only 2 hits allowed by Zach Greinke, pitching here into the bottom of the 4th. And Goldie whacks it down the right field line, slicing foul and out of play. Cardinals were talking about with their offense, it's been hit and miss. They had back-to-back games in which they had 15 hits in both games. And they've been talking about trusting the guy behind you. That's inside, and truly a team offense. We're saying, hey, let's be stubborn about the pitches we can hit hard in the zone. take some pitches that you really can't do anything with and try to be comfortable hitting with 2 strikes. Obviously easier said than done.
It's not hitting with 2 strikes is the issue. I think it's, you know, when you strike out a few times, maybe on pitches you should hit, or you're battling a guy with good stuff, sometimes you just don't want to get there. And then because then you start to try and, you know, start to think too much, you start to kind of deflect or defend too much, or there's so many things happen when you get 2 strikes. You almost panic, you know. It's almost like back in the old days, you would get 0-2 and think, this guy's going to throw up and in on me. And then you'd get on your heels a little bit and he'd throw you a fastball right down the middle and you're late, or you don't even swing the bat. So that's kind of the stigma to the, you know, like this, the 0-2, 1-2, 2-2. You're like, oh no, not again. And it's just really, there's a lot of damage done with 2 strikes.
And Goldie is 2 for 2. Chevy pitch tracks.
Trying to sneak a heater there.
Brings in Tyler O'Neill, just 2 for his last 15. Got a double yesterday, struck out looking, first time up. Greinke with 1 strikeout today, and that is of Tyler O'Neill. 70 miles an hour on that pitch. O'Neill's the kind of guy with his bat speed, as quick as his hands are. Got to stay back, don't you, with Greinke?
Yeah, he's just leaving it a little bit. He's almost too quick again, and has been really short. But it just depends, you know. You're going to run into a couple of pitchers that aren't good matchups for that style, and then, you know, the other day I thought he was really going to be overmatched, and he had put a great at bat together and shortened up his swing and hit a line drive. So it's just, you know, hit or miss, especially when you see guys trying to make adjustments and do different things.
O'Neill hits a fly ball out to center field. Taylor there. He'll make the catch. The first out. Nurses Appreciation Games return to Busch Stadium May 11th and 12th. Purchase of a special themed ticket for either game. You will receive a Nurses themed Cardinals cap. Cardinals.com/theme. And with 1 out, runner at first base, it's Nolan Arenado. Grounded to first time up. He has faced Greinke more than any other pitcher in his career. He's got 22 hits against Zach. A .275 average. Popped up. First baseman wants it, and that's Santana. Quick word from Academy Sports and Outdoors.
With our free in-store assembly and pre-assembled grills and smokers, buy online at academy.com and pick up in-store. So keep those grilling plans at Academy Sports and Outdoors.
There's Corey Dickerson, grounded out to second. Two outs and a runner at first, and Dickerson rolls over the first pitch. And strike 1.
It's interesting right there. You see Salvi sitting way off the plate. Sometimes catchers will sit out there when they throw over, and the hitter, you'll look back, and so you'll think, is he trying to throw way out there? And I was kind of wondering if he was, what if he was going to throw a changeup out there, or if he was going to throw a fastball out there. But here comes the changeup out there.
It's really set up outside.
Yeah, and that's serious movement too. I think you know, you get certain guys with that much movement and they're not throwing at the glove. They're wanting the ball to end up in the glove. And with a veteran like that, he kind of knows, I'm going to throw this at his shoulder and it's going to end up at the glove versus throw it at the glove and have it end up in the dirt. So I think they probably have a pretty good rapport here, and he's just trying to get him to chase right now.
And it's 2-1.
Which is interesting. Get 2 outs. Just keep the ball down. And you know that Dickerson hasn't been swinging the bat very well, then you just try to get a ground ball here.
Search of that first Cardinal home run. He is driven in 7. Again, he sets up outside. And a count of 2-2.
Especially with Goldie running, you know, it's like the ball down. Worst case scenario, hits the ball on the ground somewhere, shoots it through the hole. And then if you're thinking as a right-handed pitcher, then you have DeYoung coming up next, which he has been struggling. So you have basically your next 2 guys, 3 guys where you can just kind of work whatever you want to do as long as you don't get the ball up.
Two and 2 with 2 outs. Runner at first and a 1-0 Cardinal lead here in the home half of the 4th.
He's going to try to get him to chase out there. It's interesting.
He slaps it foul. Cardinals had their first caught stealing by a catcher over the weekend. It was Tyler O'Neill. The other caught stealing is Brandon Woodruff, with Albert trying to go from second to third.
Check out the signals right here. It's pretty easy right now. They're just kind of going 1-2 and wiggle. It's a change up, fastball. See Salvy's looking out the side of his mask at the pitcher so he can keep an eye on the runner.
Curveball back to Greinke, and the 6-time Gold Glover makes the play. Cardinals strand their first runner, and we move to inning number 5.
Brian Helsley threw 2 scoreless yesterday, struck out 4, got his first save. He was the talk of baseball yesterday because he hit 103.1 on the radar gun, the fastest pitch of the year in MLB. Helsley told me my phone was kind of blowing up with family and friends sending me stuff about it. He told me velocity is something he and Jordan Hicks have a little rivalry going on that front. He said, we joke about it, but I wouldn't be surprised to see Jordan go out and top it. He's got a lightning bolt for an arm. And Danny, as you know, the key for Ryan, he's healthy, especially that knee.
Yeah, we talked about that a lot. It's the front left leg that he lands on, the plant leg for him as a right-hander. And he was telling us about how he's able to get on top of the ball, and maybe, and he hasn't changed anything. He said maybe what was happening in years past, this is Taylor at the plate, but overcompensated for the pain in the knee, and sometimes mechanics can get a little bit out of whack. But he's not just throwing though, Jimmy, he's pitching. I mean, he's throwing 100+ down in the zone, and that's where I noticed a huge difference with his fastball. But everything is down, but the cutter, slider, whatever you want to call it, has become such a weapon for him as well. Cut off by Arenado, and quickly to first and makes the play. And there's conviction with every pitch, too.
Well, what gets me really quick before you see this play again is the thing that got me the most was the 14 out of the 18 pitches for strikes at 100 miles an hour or greater. That's unheard of.
He just cut that off. It's a base hit.
Oh, for sure. Probably can't make that throw from back there. Not with any kind of speed on the bases. Look at the throw. It's just like, just a little flip, and it's like right there.
Not that easy.
It's not supposed to be.
There's Nicky Lopez grounded out to second. A lot of strikes today from Mats, right around 70% strikes. And Greinke matching him in that department as well. He's at about 75% strikes. And the 0-1 to Lopez. Doesn't get that call.
That looked good, so someone said.
Lopez hitting .290 on the road since the beginning of last year, 8th best in the American League. Nasty pitch right there. 1-2.
But you throw one at the top of the zone, and that's like, you want it to be a strike, but yet you also don't want that pitch to be thrown because it gets blasted. And then you just throw a nasty breaker in the dirt and he swings at it.
The 1-2 went back to it, and he struck him out.
Great pitch. Great idea. Great pitch.
So 4 strikeouts for Steven Matz. Saturday, May 14th, 25,000 fans ages 19 and older take home a Busch Stadium exclusive Cardinals purse. Navy handbag features gold medal logo on the front, many upgraded components as well. Cardinals.com/promotions. Top of the lineup, Olivares hits it to short, and he's 1 for 3 today. Matz is through 5, a 9-pitch inning. It'll be DeYoung, Carlson, Kisner coming up, and it's 1-0. The official car and truck of the Cardinals, and by BJC Healthcare, the world's best medicine made better. Hot pretzel looks pretty good on a chilly day.
So what we got going on here. Oh, keep it footing.
You go with the cheese too, Jimmy, with your pretzel, or you just?
I'm not. I'm just if I'm going to have a pretzel, I'm just going to eat it. I'm pretty sure that it's enough bad stuff for you without dipping it in the cheese.
Yeah, but if you're at the ballpark, who cares?
Yeah, you know, I don't really get a whole lot of pretzels at the ballpark, considering the couple of jobs that I've had. I haven't had really time to eat them. Maybe at the hockey game, it's a different story.
Count of 1-1 on Paul DeYoung.
We could get a little pretzel maker up here in our booth.
You were hoping to get a coffee maker and a new refrigerator, but I don't see one.
I don't see them coming in here yet either. And the warm water is fine though. I'm good with that.
Okay.
Just quench your thirst. Can always poke our heads in next door. Oh,
Young jumps on the pitch, but yanks it foul.
I mean, I wish. Can we replay that really quick? Any chance? Look how at full speed. Look how quick his hands are. And this is the stuff that I talk about. It's like you don't need to think and do all these things when you have those hands. It's like just rely on your abilities, and that's I think what he was trying to get back to is like a lot of talking, a lot of showing, but not the raw ability coming through. And I'm just saying, like, you could see that on TV. If you put your foot down in the right spot, you keep your balance, your hands are going to fly through the zone. And that is hitting.
Pitch number 71 coming up from Zach Greinke.
And I know you can't. It's my fault for saying, like, I'm going to see that really quick, but I just think like you get excited when you see something. For me, when I'm watching one of my guys that I talk to a lot and spend time with, and when he's that close and just misses the ball, I want to see it again. Like, you know, let's see it again, see how good it is. But I know how hard it is for them to draw that up in the truck. So
popped up right side. Nice play, Whit Merrifield. 43rd annual Billiken Golf Classic takes place May 16th at Norwood Hills Country Club, and all proceeds will benefit St. Louis University Athletics. Register your team today at slewbillikens.com. DeYoung, the first out here in inning number 5, bottom half, and now it's Dylan Carlson rounded out to third. First time up. Average at 173 right now for Dylan with no home runs, and he's driven in 4.
I think what I'm watching a little bit with Dylan is where he got in a little bit of that struggle early in the year. It was last year, the year before, when he just a little bit on the outside of his foot, front foot, and a little bit on the heels. Causes you just to drift a little bit. And you remember when he went down and he came back that one time early in the year, and he came back and he was really on his toes. He had a little bit better posture. And his bat just all of a sudden sped up.
It's a tough homestand. He's just 2 for 26. In the hole, 0-2 with 1 out and nobody on. Perez wants it elevated off the plate. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Shift on the right side, the 1-2 pitch, curveball hits it the other way. Witt to his left quickly to first and makes the play.
Heck of a play.
And a little sum on that throw too.
Yep. Just a little leaky right there by Dylan Carlson. Just a little bit. See right there? It just wants to go. But play right here is pretty nice, considering he's over at third base and ends up over at the shortstop position. Oh, to be 21 again. And the big leagues.
Andrew Knizner had an 11-pitch at bat back in the third. And lined out to left. He is 0 for 1. Cardinals have been out hit 4-3, but they lead it 1-0. Slow breaking ball in at 71 miles an hour for the strike. No activity in either bullpen. The difference in the game, a Paul Goldschmidt solo home run back in the first inning. Inside corner, 0-2. He's fun to watch, Zach Greinke.
Yeah, that's a good take right there by Knizner too. No chance of him getting to that pitch. You're not looking in there. You let him have that strike and stick with your game plan. The chances of him throwing that fastball in there again are not very high.
Or if he does, he's going to go in here.
Yeah, or he's going to make it look like that fastball right there and end up being a changeup. That's actually a really nice pitch. You challenged him in, got it in there. He knows he got it in there, and you know as watching the game over the years, the hitter goes, "Oh, I can't get to that." And he knows it, so he throws the changeup in there, thinking he's going to cheat.
And the 1-2, the mask of Perez.
This is the same pitch with the same result in his last at bat right there. His last at bat, he threw the same pitch and he hit it right off Salvy's mask.
His first career start for Zach Greinke was against Brad Thompson against St. Louis in 2008. Knizner with a drive into deep center. It's at the wall, and it is caught! Oh my goodness! Maybe the play of the year in center. Michael A. Taylor takes one away in one of the best plays you'll ever see. Wow! Oh my goodness, what a play. And he keeps it 1-0 St. Louis. The best catches we've seen at this ballpark. And Jimmy, this is not like one of those high arcing fly balls that you can time up. This was a line drive. And he goes over the wall to get it.
I think the degree of difficulty right there, that's about as good as you can get. I mean, that's just an unbelievable play. Everything had to be perfect right there.
Also dug in with the cleats on the wall that has that padding there. Yeah, that's just great.
Had a big old smile on his face. I was going to say he's going to be smiling for days with that play. That's one heck of a play, young man.
I think the guys there to his left, screen right, are all looking at the play. Yeah, nice work. And the 1-1 pitch to Merrifield. And he lines it to left, sinking, and a diving catch. Tyler O'Neill on a ball that was sinking. Stayed with it, makes the play in the first out.
A little defense going on out there, huh? This ball right here is exactly why I think left field is the toughest position to play. More right-handed hitters hitting and more of those coming at you.
I mean, that thing had so much topspin. It started to dive
One
quickly.
more step and that ball's eating him up, hitting the grass and bouncing all over the place.
Now Andrew Benintendi, and he's hit by the pitch.
a slider, I think, huh? Slider or a changeup?
Yeah, changeup, maybe, but it had that. I think he had a slider grip or a changeup grip.
Just slipped out of his hand.
Yeah. So Benintendi aboard, and now Salvador Perez. Royals trying to get something going here in the 6th, but that is a huge pick-me-up by Michael A. Taylor. Take away a run from St. Louis.
Tell you what, Dan, there's a lot of really good plays in this game every day, and I'm still thinking that's one of the better plays I've seen in a while, just because of the whole dramatic portion of the wall and the ball hit the way it was. You know, like the degree of difficulty was basically as high as you can get on every aspect of that play. The ball was hit hard. He had to go back. He's got a big outfield to work with. He's not camped underneath it and jumping. He's timing it. Everything had to be perfect. And like you said, and it's not like the ball was in the air where he could time anything. He got a little bit of a time because as an outfielder, your timing is only just to get your footing enough so you know you can get you have to get your right foot into the wall. You can't get your left foot into the wall or vice versa, because it's just the way you do it. And so if that doesn't work out, you don't get there.
0-2 on Perez. So Jimmy had 8 Gold Gloves, and you had done that a time or two. You know, at this ballpark, you don't see that very often.
This ballpark's big. I mean, these guys play deeper than they used to back in the day, but it's still, I mean, that's a lot of room out there. And that ball was hit.
And the 0-2 pitch, Perez spoils it.
I'd like to go back and see how many home runs that I actually caught or that one player has robbed. Be a cool little stat.
Perez, a double play candidate here. He's hit it to 2 this season. Cardinals with the shift. So it'd be Donovan on a ground ball left side, or back to the pitcher, Matz. Perez hits the ball hard. He's hit into a couple of double plays already this year. 147 in his career. His average exit velocity is about 93 miles an hour. So you're going to get a hard hit ball more times than not. He'll throw over again. And that is off the plate. And the 1-2 pitch, runner goes, and now picked down at first. Benintendi started towards second, then stopped, got back to the bag.
He almost picked the right pitch to run on. It was a changeup right there, other than the fact that he did a really nice job, because the slide step by Matz clearly gave Kisner the advantage there.
It's fouled back.
But that's what base running is all about, right? Putting yourself in a good position. It's not just running. He took off, he got a good jump, and probably about the 3rd step in, he thought, man, he's too quick to the plate right there. I got to get back. You know, you're going on movement, and then if you realize, man, he just kind of slid step right there. I got to stop. I'm going to get thrown out. You can stop and get back.
2-2, and Perez gets underneath it. Donovan going out. Bader coming in. It's Brendan Donovan, the second baseman, to make the catch. BJC Healthcare difference maker Steven Matz. What have you seen, Jimmy?
Well, you mentioned it right away. The velocity is up today, but you know what else is up is the fastball in and up and velocity's on it, and he's just been throwing strikes. I like that he just kind of did what we were just talking about with Greinke. He tried to go away off the plate against Perez there, and then he swung at one, so he tried to go a little bit further, and he took it. Then he tried to go right back out there with the changeup. So not only is that fastball jumping out of his hands today, he's really thinking through some of these at-bats, and he's hitting his location.
Pitch count at 90 to Santana, who doubled to left center, also fly to right. The month of May has been the best month in the career of Steven Matz. His ERA is 2.80, fifth lowest among active pitchers. So he seems to get settled in the month of May. And now it's 0-2.
Even that changeup looked hard right there, didn't it?
Yeah.
Kind of stayed on the plane too long, but no swing at all.
And the 0-2 pitch inside. But Andrew Knizner, not only does he get robbed of a home run, but then in the previous at bat he had an 11 pitch at bat and hits a bullet to left, and that's caught.
It did hit that ball pretty hard too, didn't he?
That's baseball. The 1-2. 2-2. Matz, to me, is on the righties today, pitched inside, and he's been able to pitch inside for effect as well.
Well, that's what we saw when he first got here. You know, the first couple of outings, he really pitched in, and we thought, well, that's going to be the key right there, is being able to throw strikes inside, pitch inside.
Line to center, and Bader is there. Midway through 6. Good ball game. Cardinals on top. Fans entering with a ticket receive the Ozzie Smith Funko Pop. Thanks to Coca-Cola and Schnucks. Tickets at cardinals.com/promotions. And a strike to Brendan Donovan. Singled to center field. Lone plate appearance here this afternoon. Back in the third. Cardinals with 3 hits. Goldie has 2 of them. That includes a home run. And Donovan puts it on the ground to second baseman Whit Merrifield in the first out. Getting loose, right-hander Colin Snyder for the Kansas City Royals. Pitch count only at 83 right now for Greinke, and now it's Harrison Bader. Popped out to second and grounded into a 6-4-3 double play. He's 0 for 2. Cody Whitley throwing for the Cardinals in their bullpen. The grunt with every pitch and a strike delivered by Greinke. Not sure I've ever seen the man sweat. You notice that?
But he grunts.
Just
dialing it up.
Nice easy day at the ballpark.
Doctor just carving people up.
Yep. Popped up right side, shallow right, Merrifield. And Bader is hitless today, 0 for 3, and it brings in Goldie. Statcast powered by Google Cloud. So it was in the first, and one of the only mistakes that Zach Greinke has made today. Home run hit by Goldschmidt, his second of the year, and he's 2 for 2 today.
That ball was hit 420 feet, and it landed only 380 feet away.
So Goldie's got the knob on the bat that we've talked about extensively. Joey Votto ditched it this week.
I thought that was coming.
Said, I've had enough. Curveball in there for a strike.
Well, I think the thing with Joey Votto too, we talked about, is having the knob like that is one thing if you're swinging a 34 and it's just a little bit bigger knob, but if you're swinging a 36-inch bat, and then you're trying to take a little bit with that knob away from it. The bat's still 36 inches.
Foul territory, playable. Santana puts it away in a 7-pitch inning for Zach Greinke. 1-0. The Cardinals not to be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the St. Louis Cardinals. The Budweiser What's on Tap. It's a 1-0 game, and the series will shift to the other side of the state. Kauffman Stadium in Kansas City. Tomorrow at 6:30, Wednesday 5:30. Both games on Bally Sports Midwest. We saw Cody Whitley pitch yesterday against Arizona, 3rd of an inning. So Matz is done with 6 scoreless, 4 hits allowed, and the first pitch popped up and fouled by Hunter Dozier. Cody picked up the win, number 2 yesterday. Chevy called to the pen.
Pretty good day's work, huh? 6 pitches, get the W, get out of there. See you later.
It's a vulture right there.
Thanks for coming. Pitch.
Be interesting to see how the Cardinals navigate the final 9 outs. Helsley went 2 innings yesterday. Have to assume that he would be down. Cabrera has pitched a bunch here recently, but Giovanni Gallegos has not. Haven't seen him since the blown save against the Mets. That began this homestand as Goldie gives it a look, and it's out of play. No balls and 2 strikes, and again rosters had to be reduced, so Aaron Brooks was DFA'd. Packy Naughton sent back to AAA Memphis. Right-handers 0 for 6. A couple of strikeouts against Whitley. And the 0-2. Outfield is straight away. Dozier 0 for 2 today. Popped up. Left side. Arenado is there. On the line and makes the catch. So the first out here in the 7th inning. 40th anniversary of the Cardinals '82 Championship Club. Friday, May 13th. 25,000 fans ages 16 and older take home a white 1982 inspired performance hat, courtesy of Quick Trip. Cardinals.com/promotions. Third time in the career of Steven Matz to go 6 innings and not allow a walk. And was unscored upon. And he's pretty thrilled about it. Bobby Witt Jr. is 1 for 2. And that is tap foul.
Make me laugh. You make me laugh some days. It is pretty funny though when if you think about what he just went through, and then he's probably in there just totally just decompressing everything and in deep thought, or just flat out exhausted and your mind's blown.
A little bit of both, yeah. Probably.
No time for smiles, no energy for anything. You're kind of out there watching the game, but you're really just like looking right through it.
And the 1-2. So Witt had the infield hit in the 2nd inning. Home to first, 4.22 seconds.
I saw that.
First. That is scooting.
Feet per second? How do they measure that?
31.
Is it feet per second?
Yep. And the 1-2 pitch. Dakota Hudson and Brad Keller tomorrow. Good matchup.
Sorry, I was distracted. I saw the cat lurking.
You distracted? No.
The cat was lurking around back behind us, and I got a little. I heard a little.
Tied him up in a strikeout.
I heard a little meow, and I got a little nervous.
Jimmy, I don't see you getting distracted by much. You're locked in.
I told you I could hear his feet coming from behind us.
First strikeout for Cody Whitley, and that's 5 in the lineup today for Kansas City.
Yeah, you know what he's saying to himself right there? That wasn't fun. That's not the way it's supposed to be right there.
Do you think Andrew Kisner says something to Michael A. Taylor?
Yeah, I would. And it wouldn't be probably be some bleeping if you were on
Mic'd
air.
Up? Yeah. 2 outs and nobody on, and an 0-1 pitch by Cody Whitley. Taylor trying to bunt his way on, and that will be a foul ball. And now there's 2 strikes.
You know when you're mic'd up and you're like telling everyone you're mic'd up, and then recently I've seen that they've now talking in the All-Star game. I think it was they were talking back and forth.
Well, they do it on Sunday Night Baseball. So last night Francisco
Lindor conversation
Lindor
with someone.
Was in the middle of turning 2 with the Mets last night.
Well, I saw a highlight one time with somebody, I don't know who it was. They were talking to Joe Buck back and forth during the inning.
It was Bryce Harper.
But what I'm saying is, you know, if I was Kisner and he was walking up to the plate, I would say, you might want to turn my mic down here for a second. I'm going to give it to him.
Or alert those that are around you.
Your 5-second beeper. Have it ready.
Here's the 0-2 pitch. Spoiled.
Got a high heater.
There was fouled back. 94 from Whitley. Cardinals will have O'Neill, Arenado, and Dickerson coming up. Lopez is on deck. Let's see what he wants to go with here. The 0-2 pitch. Tied him up again. A couple of strikeouts for Cody Whitley in a 1-2-3 inning. Time to stretch. And it's 1-0. By CarShield. CarShield cars go farther. And by Budweiser. This Bud's for you. New pitcher in Colin Snyder, the right-hander, pitched the bottom of the 7th here for Kansas City. Last time out, threw against the Yankees 2 days ago at a scoreless inning. Zach Greinke finishes with 88 pitches, 6 innings, allows 3 hits and a run, and it's our Chevy call to the pen. Honda home run inning. Gateway Honda dealers donate $1,000 to the Make-A-Wish Foundation of Missouri if the Cardinals hit a home run. We had a winner yesterday. There's Tyler O'Neill, 0 for 2. Called out on strikes, fly to center. First pitch by Snyder, taken for a ball.
Could have had 2 winners yesterday, huh? They only gave
right.
away once. It's excited. It's exciting every time you get 2 home runs in an inning, let alone the Honda home run inning.
Especially with the way that things have been going offensively.
That was exciting. That was a quick turnaround, wasn't it?
Yes, it was. 2 hops to short. And the first out. While we have a moment, quick word from Great Southern Bank.
Chipping in on a surprise birthday gift that everyone will love, especially at 4:30 in the morning? When the big day arrives, you can send money fast with the Great Southern mobile app.
Arenado hitless today, 0 for 2, team leading 6 home runs and 18 runs batted in. Matz, in his scoreless starts this year, he's got 2 of them, including today, has received 1 run of support. Always works out that way, doesn't it?
Somebody has to wear it every year. There's somebody on the short end of the stick of the run support every year.
And the 1-0 pitch.
Another interesting guy coming out of the bullpen with Snyder here. You think that you see the fastball can be in the 95, 96 range, but he throws more sliders than fastballs.
The 2-0 pitch. And a fastball in there for a strike. Different look, too, after Greinke, kind of a 3/4.
You get 95, 96.
Exactly.
With a pretty good slider from Snyder.
Low, 3-1. It's a good thing the clubs agreed to start this game early as rain is imminent. Not too far away.
Can't see it from here, but it's behind us.
Yeah, it's coming. 3-1 pitch to Nolan Arenado. Inside, and he walked him. So the 1-out walk, and the batter will be Corey Dickerson. Mike Matheny and Cal Eldred, John Mabry, all connections to recent Cardinals have played here in St. Louis and coached or managed. I know you always appreciated Cal and Mike and Mabes as teammates.
Yes, sir. About 3 of the best right there. I used to laugh when Mike and Cal were such good friends that they used to get in arguments on the mound.
All the time.
And they talked about it all the way back in the Milwaukee days. I think that they were together at some point, but it was just funny because they were such good friends, but they kind of didn't see eye to eye all the time about certain things, and they weren't afraid to argue with each other.
Took something off it, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. So the first time that Zach Greinke faced the Cardinals in his career, mentioned it the mid 2004, 2005, but in that game gave up a home run, and that was hit by John Mabry. I'm sorry to tell you, ball game, but you went 0 for 3 against Zach Greinke.
That's all right.
It happens.
Got my fair share, I think, against him. A couple homers, maybe.
2 strikes on Dickerson.
Tell you what, always said it. This is about as nasty as it got.
Oh yeah,
back in the day with his stuff. But I found out until it looked like, if you ever look at the beginning of his career too, it was about the 3rd or 4th year. All of a sudden, he went from being a 6-12 pitcher to being like 12-6. It was like turnaround instant, 1 year to the next. A couple years later, win the Cy Young.
You know, he dealt with some anxiety issues for a while, and
don't we all?
Obviously got over that. And you know, you hear about an instance that's made public, but I'm here to tell you it is all over the place in professional sports, and certainly in baseball, a sport that is based on failure in a lot of ways, and how you deal with it. Not easy. The 1-2 pitch, and he waves at it. Strikeout, and 2 away.
That 97-mile-an-hour sinker right there.
And it brings in shortstop Paul DeJong. He is 0 for 2. Cardinals with 3 hits today. Really their 2nd strikeout in the lineup. And here is DeJong. He's got 1 home run that was hit into the visitors' bullpen of the Pirates earlier this season. And the first pitch, strike 1. Paul had a double yesterday and came at the right time too.
Yes, it did.
0-1 pitch. 0-2.
Fastball, watch.
And put on the ground to short. Flip to Merrifield from Lopez. Sends us to inning number 8 in a 1-0 game.
With you coming up after the game, we'll have Cardinals Live and Hungo. We got a good old pitcher's duel going on.
Yeah, we sure do. Just one swing of the bat. Goldie made this one hold up. 6 more outs to go.
We'll have it all covered for you immediately following today's game on Cardinals Live. As we send it back to Bush, to Dan and Jeff, guys.
All right, guys, looking forward to the postgame. Whitgren in. Leads the Cardinals 7th in the National League, 10 relief appearances. The Chevy called to the pen. Inning 7 through 9, the Royals have given up the most runs in baseball. And when trailing after 6, they're 0-10. When trailing after 7, 0-12.
I am blown away about your memory. It is just crazy. You can read something and just file it away and then pull it out of your hat in the 8th inning. That's some serious studying you've been doing. I don't know how you retain all that.
Well, Jimmy, it's part of the job.
I guess it is.
It's part of the job.
That's why there's 2 of us trying to keep up with you.
Oh, no.
Bradley and I.
Just trying to keep up with you.
You ran everyone else off.
I did not do that. Now you hold on there, mister. Here's Nicky Lopez. I loved working with all the different partners I've had over the years. McCarver right now is watching probably down in Florida. And I mean, come on.
I'm going to go with no.
Finish this thing off. I was dead wrong. Here's the 1-1 pitch. Taken low, and it's count of 2 balls and 1 strike. Anytime I see a pitcher get the ball back and then kind of look around like, really?
That's a good pitch. Yeah, I saw it a few times. Was it yesterday or the day before? It was like guys were just like, wait a second. Really?
Hit left side. Arenado playing off the line. And the first out. Here in the 8th inning. It's a key first out. Little help from his defense behind him. 100% MLB verified tickets easier than ever on StubHub, the official partner of the Cardinals. Widest selection of seats and prices. And look up your seat view before you purchase so you know the view of the field. Tickets available on StubHub up until the first pitch. Whitgren pitched yesterday, 18 pitches, 13 of which were strikes, as he had a scoreless inning. And now we have the top of the lineup. It's already a 3rd time that Nick has appeared in back-to-back games this season. You have a fresh Giovanni Gallegos out in the St. Louis bullpen if Whitgren gets in any kind of trouble. Well, Olivares a strike, and it's 1-1.
Sneaky right there.
He's been doing that lately, kind of the quick pitch. And the 1-1. 2 strikes.
Great changeup right there.
Jimmy, how about the job of Andrew Knizner in calling games? It seems like he's getting better and better.
Well, you hit the nail on the head, and it's almost like with the umpires. If you don't notice they're back there, you just don't notice a lot of mistakes.
Great point. Yep.
He blocks balls. He throws guys out. He does everything right. He's always done it, but we don't get to see enough of it. And now all of a sudden you see it more often, and you're like, oh yeah, this guy's pretty good.
Yep. Exactly. He's getting a chance to play a little bit more. But I've been impressed.
I mean, I think he's, I think it'd be nice to see him here for a while and then just look at the last 3 guys to wear a catcher's uniform for the Cardinals, and you're thinking like they all can learn from each other. Wow, what a trio. You go from Matheny to Yadi, and then if you go to Knizner, and we already know he could play, obviously, and he's just getting better by the day, but imagine if he sticks around for 10 years and you just look back and you could say to yourself, there's not very often you could say there's, and over the last 30 years, there's only been 3 catchers in the Cardinals organization, and all 3 of them have been pretty good.
Can't think of many spots that have had this kind of run. And there's a broken bat to Donovan. And so the lack of turnover, the consistency at that particular position. Now the Cardinals had a lot of turnover once Ozzie retired at short. You know, and you saw a lot of different guys playing that position. Second base was another one, but
Second baseman surprised me a little bit. Edgar was here for a while, but
that was early 2000s, yeah. And then it rolled over. But you had Matheny,
guy,
and then in 04, Yachty was called up, and they knew he was the heir apparent, and he's been here ever since.
I mean, I'll tell you what, when Mike played, and I would say this to anyone, there was no one on the field that worked harder. And you hear that statement all the time. That isn't a true statement about a lot of people. That is probably the truest statement you could make about that guy. I don't think I've ever seen anyone work as hard, especially defensively, blocking balls, working on his throwing, doing every little thing. And then Yachty comes up. He has all the talent in the world. He's got the better arm than Mike. He can move a little bit better. He doesn't run as fast as Mike did, but as a joke. But then all of a sudden you see Yachty start to do the same type of things. And now who works harder than Yachty? No one. And he picked it up from Mike. And so if you look around every now and then, you'll see Kistner in the cage blocking balls. He'll be the guy running down to the bullpen to get a couple of, you know, if you get a new guy in your team, he's smart enough to run down there, maybe get a little bit of time with him before he comes into the game. I mean, it just is amazing to watch these 3 guys over the last, like I said, 20-something years. They're almost mirror images of each other, the way they work.
I just think, you know, too, the catcher's
He
spot
started it all right there.
As demanding as it is, and the physical demand that it puts on a player to have this kind of longevity in that spot.
Yeah. But look at, like, which one of them is going to give in? None of them.
No.
You know, like, and that's going to be Andrew. Andrew's going to be like, look at, I mean, Yachty never came out. I'm not coming out.
2-2 out to left. Backing up O'Neill. Makes the catch. Whitgren a 1-2-3. The bullpen 6 up, 6 down. And it's 1-0. This is Clark. Taylor Clark, a right-hander, and our Chevy called to the pen. Pretty famous day in this date in Cardinals history. Stan the Man had 5 home runs during a doubleheader against the Giants. 3 home runs in the first game. A couple of more after that. He had 21 total bases on the day. It's incredible.
That is. I always thought that was against the Cubs. I didn't.
Hit number 3,000 against the Cubs.
I think, you know, when you hear certain things and you just shut down. I think I hear 5 home runs in a day, and I'm like, I'm still thinking about those things, and you lose the rest of the sentence because you're like, how is that possible?
Mo Drabowski gave up hit number 3,000 at Wrigley.
I knew that was there. I don't know why I always thought. I guess that's the myth, you know, like when you don't hear it from you or seeing it in writing, you hear about things and maybe this little details are missing.
0-2 on Carlson. Carlson, Kisner, and Donovan for St. Louis. 7, 8, 9. And looking ahead to the 9th, Benintendi, Perez, and Santana. So Gallegos was up and throwing, and I'm sure he's plenty hot. And once the Cardinals get their second out on him, if not the first, he'll hop back up on that mound. Clark pitched yesterday against the Yankees, had an inning, couple of hits, but no runs. Gave up back-to-back singles, but came away unscathed. And it's a count of 1-2. Carlson twice is grounded out to third. Hits it the other way, and that ball is slicing fair down into the left field corner. And Carlson to second. He'll stop there. And it's a leadoff double for St. Louis. That could be a key run out there at second base.
I'll tell you what, that was were kind of all over that. You thought he was going to have a good at bat right there. One of the very few times you take a look right there that he wasn't really on his front heel. See that front foot stick in the dirt. You know, you get twisted in there pretty good, but that's when you're hitting against the front side. You see guys' feet kind of just slide around. That means they don't have a lot of balance. That was a really good swing right there.
Snaps an 0 for 18. This is where you see Kisner at times purposefully will try to just put the ball in play right side. Does a good job with that when he gets a chance to play, to move Carlson up or drive him in. He has lined out to left, an 11 pitch at bat, hit it on the button to Benintendi, and then was robbed by Taylor in center as he took a home run away in one of the best defensive plays of the year.
He could very easily have 2 home runs right now because that ball he lined out on was 109 miles an hour off the bat.
Oof. Good cut. 1 ball, 1 strike, and our Budweiser play of the game. If you missed it, on a line to center, and Taylor with this catch, and what a play. Wow. Two sides to every story. Slamming a helmet.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Flipping a glove.
You hate to slam the helmet, but there's just no way around the frustration.
Chop left side. Witt looks back. Carlson, and the out. There's Donovan, who was singled today, grounded out to second, 1 for 2.
How about the ball that was hit for the homer that was brought back was hit 102, and the ball he hit on the line to left field was hit 109.
1 out, runner at second, and time called. Royals will have 3, 4, and 5 coming up. Cardinals trying to add to a 1-0 lead. And Gallegos has gotten up and throwing again in the St. Louis bullpen. Cardinals have had a total of 5 at bats with runners in scoring position. Matter of fact, not just the Cardinals, but Kansas City combined, we've had 5. Cardinals are 0 for 1, Kansas City 0 for 4.
There's been a lot of movement out there on the bases.
First pitch, a strike to Donovan. And the 0-1 upstairs. Bader on deck. Carlson the lead at second base. Lopez the shortstop behind him. Not much of a secondary lead. The 1-1. 2 balls and 1 strike. He's got his first hit, his first run batted in. Maybe his first extra base hit or home run right here. The 2-1 pitch. And Donovan pulls it foul. We've seen his versatility on display. He's played second base, third base, first base for the Cardinals.
Well, you know what I like too is I think he just and you can I haven't seen him as much as you have, but I think really good at bats all the time. I feel like he's in.
He does
the at bat to the end. You know, it's not like you don't see a lot of just like swing at one, take one, and pop one up. It's like a battle, and he has a good idea of the strike zone.
2-2.
He's able to do that.
And that's a key there, being able to fight that off.
Well, you said it yourself earlier today about probably the key pitch in the whole game was Bader being able to foul off a tough pitch, bought him the fastball for the homer. So that's always the key. Is like, see the other day with Goldie with how many pitches at bat against Baumgartner?
12 pitches, yeah.
And then the homer at the end. So how many times do you think he spoiled a pretty good pitch to get to the pitch that he hit out. So that happens a lot.
2-2.
You have to do this stuff. You know, you have to make an adjustment on the fly.
Ollie was saying the other day, he said, Donovan is a gamer. He said that's how I would describe him. And he told him, he said, I'm a baseball rat. That's what I do. I love it. He's battling here. 2 balls and 2 strikes. The next to Donovan.
That's what I mean right there. You know, like you watch a lot of guys and you could see the difference between good hitters and bad hitters, right? You'll see a guy that can really foul balls off in a certain location. You don't see guys very often that aren't good hitters that can foul a fastball away, foul off a cutter or slider in, foul off a fastball in, foul off a fastball up. You know, the at bat that he grounded out the other day on the breaking ball in the dirt to get the run in, just a great at bat. I mean, it's just, and it's funny too is, to me, when you say the word gamer, a lot of that goes right there at the plate. You know,
grinding through the at bat.
Grinding through the at bat. He's a gamer. He's always ready, but being a gamer and sitting on the bench just doesn't go hand in hand. It's, you get that label from doing what he's doing right now.
So be the 9th pitch of the at bat with Carlson, the runner at second base. The 2-2 to Brendan Donovan. We'll have a 10th pitch. Love it. This also gets the attention of Ollie and the staff.
Sure. Are you kidding me? Everyone's watching this right here.
Looking down at the dugout, more guys have edged a little bit closer to the edge of the dugout to check it out. 10 pitch at bat here. Skip Schumacher there on the left. Ollie Marmol on the right. Cal Eldred trying to get his guy through it. Pitch number 17, pitch number 10 of the at bat. And a strikeout of Donovan.
That's frustrating too as a hitter, because you just swing right through a pitch you know you could have at least fouled off. Probably nothing to do with this pitch, but he fouled off tougher pitches during the at bat, and then you just, it's almost like, that's like a, you know what that is? Best pitch in baseball right there. Backup slider. He saw it, he waited, and the ball just gets past you. That's the most oddball thing too, because as a hitter you see it, and so you slow yourself down, wait for the break a little bit, and then you go after it, and the ball just kind of keeps going straight. It's almost the illusion of as it's picking up speed, because your brain's telling you it's going to slow down and break.
And now it's Bader. Harrison in the top spot in the St. Louis lineup. Twice he's popped out to second and grounded into a 6-4-3 double play. Nothing in 2. This would be a pick-me-up for the Royals with a leadoff double if they can keep him stranded. Carlson began with a double hit into the left field corner. Kisner grounded to third. Donovan, long at bat, resulted in a strikeout. And now Bader in the hole, nothing in 2. Here it comes.
A take.
Right where Perez wanted it. To be a changeup, and he stayed away.
Hard changeup too.
Here's the 1-2. And Perez holds on. It is a 1-run game. Giovanni Gallegos to face the heart of the lineup in the 9th. Benintendi, Perez, Santana. Edmundo Sosa takes over at second base for Donovan. And the new pitcher is Giovanni Gallegos. His last 2 outings, an inning and 2/3, 6 hits, 5 earned, no strikeouts, and facing 11 batters. So we have not seen him since the error by Arenado, and then Gallegos failed to cover the bag at first and cost them a game against the Mets. By the way, speaking of Arenado, just announced he is the National League Player of the Month and the first Cardinal third baseman to have that honor since May of 1977.
What?
Kenny Reitz.
Wow.
So not Scott Rowland. I thought it might have been Scott Rowland on that, but
so he really wasn't.
Congratulations to Nolan.
He wasn't as good as we thought he was then. That Rowland guy.
He's pretty darn good. He's going to Cooperstown probably. One of the things I would be very curious about in watching this appearance is fastball usage. Gio has gone away from that fastball. And that is a very good pitch still for Gallegos. He's thrown that slider, that breaking ball a ton here recently. And the first pitch taken inside for a ball.
Well, I had a really good theory with this, and I think that, you know, he's lights out with that slider, and if he can throw a fastball, but there's every now and then you're going to face a guy in a crucial situation who is not a swing through the slider type of hitter. He's going to be able to battle you, and that's when you need to use the fastball. And if you're worried about throwing that fastball because you're in a tight jam to the wrong person, then he's either going to be able to put your slider in play, or he's going to take them for the walk. And that's just going to happen once in a while, and that's why you can't give up on that fastball.
3 seasons prior to this year, he threw the slider 44% of the time, the 4-seamer about 54%. So far this year, about 50% sliders. The 4-seamer down to 40%. He's also mixing in the changeup a little bit more.
Danny, I got a sheet over here that was looking at earlier that said he was throwing the slider to right-handers 62%. That's a lot.
And it's a fastball that should play. I mean, it's a good one.
It's 93 at its worst, 92 at its worst, with a little jump. You know, he's got a good changeup too. He doesn't throw very often. He might be throwing right here.
So it's 2-2. Strikeout rate has really dropped.
Well, that's the thing too. If you think about it, right, when you go to hit against a guy like Giovanni, you're thinking fastball slider, or you're thinking slider fastball, and then right there you get a hitter's count, you get a changeup, you're flying, and then all of a sudden, whoop, changeup. So if you add that to the mix, he's got a whole nother weapon that he doesn't use very often.
The 2-2 pitch in the air to center. Bader backing up, and he'll make the catch. Quick word from St. Louis Children's.
St. Louis Children's Hospital, the only place where Washington University physicians have gathered from across the globe, discovering and developing life-changing treatments for kids.
Strikeout rate has gone from 32% and basically cut in half. So that catches your attention.
Well, it's no different than being a hitter. You're going to be a dominant hitter, or you're going to have a really good season. People are going to try to figure it out. And if you do the same, and I've been telling you this for years, and you know exactly what I'm going to say, if you get me out 2 or 3 or 4 times in a row, and I only see you 5 or 6 times a year, I'm going to figure it out. I'm going to do whatever it takes. You're not going to get me out anymore. And I don't care if it's a hit or a walk, but it's going to be one of the two. And so guys are going to bear down. They're like, man, I'm tired of this guy getting me out. And so that's when, as a pitcher, you now have to make the adjustment. It's not always just the hitter.
Big out here if you can get him. Salvador Perez representing the tying run at the plate. He is hitless. He's flied to center, flied to left, and popped out. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Well,
he's 0 for 1 head-to-head against Gallegos with a strikeout.
My key to this at bat right here is staying away from him. And if he hits the ball, he has to hit the ball into right center field. Cannot give him something to pull.
Giovanni with 6 days of rest coming into this appearance. Good pitch.
What do you think he's trying to do?
Yank it out of the ballpark.
Trying to tie the game.
Yep. So if you're going to go in, you better be all the way in or stay away.
You don't even go in. You don't even mess with it. It's like LaBruce is saying, why do you intentionally walk some guys and why do you make guys pitch around? And sometimes he says, because I know if I tell the guy to try to pitch around him, he'll throw the ball right down the middle.
They've stayed away on every pitch so far. It's a count of 1-2.
You just have to, Danny. You just have to stay away from Perez right here.
Kisner sets up, out, swing and a miss, and he struck him out. 95 elevated, and Perez the second out. Big out, and now it's Carlos Santana. Royals have struck out 7 times today, and none bigger than that one.
It's just smart pitching, right? And not such smart hitting. Because, you know, you're really a walk and a double away from scoring a run, and not a home run is the hardest thing to do.
Santana 1 for 3 today with a double and a line out. Strike one. Gio slipped off the mound there.
That's scary right there. Usually see a pitcher jump off the mound like that. There's some kind of hamstring or groin involved.
The 0-1 pitch. Nothing in 2. They're on their feet here at Busch Stadium. The Cardinals a strike away. Picking up win number 13. The 0-2. Foul back.
Gotta get it out there.
Boy, that's 94 right down the middle.
You see the late swing. That's a little slider thought. And that better not be too late for the fastball. You can't hit both, so you better be guessing right or just not swing at the good slider.
Well pitched on both sides. Paul Goldschmidt. A home run in the first and the only run in this game. The 0-2 pitch. And a base hit. Ball game extended on an 0-2. Santana. And the Royals aren't done yet.
This is what I'm talking about a little bit. This guy knows he's got a good slider, so you kind of have to not overswing, and he just stays back long enough and has a level enough swing to put it in play. Good at bat. And of that a boy.
Isbell will be the pinch runner. Hunter Dozier 0 for 2, 2 strikeouts against Gallegos. Today he is hitless. 0 for 3. Ground out, pop out, strikeout.
And he's been trying to lift and separate all day.
And the first pitch by Giovanni Gallegos. Off the plate and a ball. Kansas City, 2 out hits. 4th fewest in baseball. They only have 16 2-out run batted in situations this year that they've come through in. They've left 5 on today. And the 1-0 pitch by Giovanni Gallegos. A ball and a strike.
It's another one of those hitters right here. You can just rely on trying to leave the yard. He's trying to win the game, so you just have to be smart as a pitcher.
Kansas City, last 9 games, they have stranded 77 base runners. Tops in the American League. Cardinals would love to see it be at 6 here today. Runner at first, Isbell. And the 1-1 pitch. Instead a check on the runner at first. It was Matz for 6. Whitley had the 7th. Wickren the 8th. And now Gallegos, pitch number 16 coming up. And the 1-1. And again, the Royals down to their final strike. 1 ball and 2 strikes with 2 outs and a runner at first.
Kind of have to run here, don't you, or get started? Or I know you don't want to get thrown out, but
certainly you think about it, though.
Just got to go. I guess you're just going with time. So
Isbell, the runner at first, and the 1-2 pitch. Now 2-2.
Definitely not quick enough to the plate, I think, to stop you from running, but. Be tough to get thrown out with a guy like this at the plate.
The 2-2. Swing and a miss. He went. Kisner will throw to first, and the Cardinals win it. A 1-0 win for St. Louis. Lucky number 13 for the Redbirds. They're now 13-9, and the Royals are 7-14. Third time that Kansas City has been shut out. Second time in their last 3. And the 4th shutout for St. Louis. Good ball game.
Well, if you're telling me that the second hitter of the game is going to hit a homer and that's going to hold up, that's pretty impressive. Steven Matz, nice job through 6 innings. The bullpen again, Danny. They keep doing it. Every time they get out there, they give the team a chance to win. Nice job.
3 scoreless innings. Whitley, Wickren, Gallegos. Homestand is over. Now it's off to Kansas City and San Francisco. The Cardinals and the Royals tomorrow night at Kauffman Stadium. Post-game show comes your way next.